Hello, this is Dr. Thomas Clifford again. Today we're gonna be talking about the electrical activity of the heart. The heart have like 4 chambers. The superior ones represented by the atriums, and the inferior ones represented by the ventricles. Those chambers communicate like together, like in the Y part. The Y atrium communicate with the Y ventricle by the tricuspid valve right here to the right, and right here we have the left atrium communicate with the left ventricle but with the mitral valve right here. So to understand the electrical activity of the heart, there are like some physiology that we need, some neurophysiology that we need to focus on. So we know like the vena cava, the inferior vena cava, collect blood from your lower limb and go straight to the right atrium. Then the superior vena cava collect blood from your upper limb and go to the right atrium right here. Now put that in your mind. So we have the blood right here in the right atrium. And when we have like the contraction of this atrium, like the right atrium, right here, and we're gonna have like to have these contractions, we have the pressure in the right atrium. When we have this contraction, we're gonna have like the pressure in the right atrium is gonna be like higher than the pressure in the right ventricle, and this is the reason why we're gonna have like the opening of the tricuspid valve, and we're gonna have the blood going through the right atrium to the right ventricle. In the left part, we're gonna have like after this, we're gonna have like the blood leaving the right ventricle by the after the systole when in systole or in contraction of the right ventricle. To have this contraction or to have the blood leaving the right ventricle, we're gonna have like the pressure in the right ventricle. This pressure is gonna be higher than the pressure in the pulmonic valve, or to the pulmonic valve right here. As soon as you have this pressure higher than the pressure in the pulmonary artery right here, so we're gonna have the blood leave the right ventricle, and go through the left atrium right here, through the four pulmonic valve. So we're gonna have the blood right here now, like in the left atrium. In the left atrium, we're gonna have the same thing. So we're gonna have like the pressure in the left atrium higher than the pressure in the left ventricle. So you're gonna have like the opening of the mitral valve, and the blood will leave the left atrium and go to the left ventricle. And right after this, now remember that we have our blood in the left ventricle. To the left ventricle, we're gonna have like the pressure inside of the ventricle, like the left ventricle, higher than the pressure in the aorta. And this is the reason why we're gonna have the blood leaving the left ventricle and going to the aorta. This is the basics I have to understand. This is really important. So what else? Now we see that we have right here like the SN node. The SN node represents the natural pacemaker of the heart. What does it do? What the SN node stimulates the atrium to contract. You have the contraction or the depolarization. And for this depolarization, this will generate, or the contraction of the atrium will generate the P wave that we see on the EKG. If we can note it right here. this atrium contraction will generate a P wave. This is the P wave right here. But to have like this P wave, we have the SNR that stimulate the atrium, and that will generate the P wave right here. But remember, this P wave have two halves. The first half right here represent the left atrium contraction, because as I said before, the left atrium will contract before the right atrium right here will contract before the left atrium. And to be clear on that, to show you what's really going on, the SNR give branches that we call Bachman's bundles. Those branches will go to the left atrium, and those branches will generate the contraction of the left atrium. As you can see right here, this is as you can see right here, this is the Bachman bundles, where you have like, will generate the contraction of the left atrium. And remember, as I said again, the right atrium will contract before the left atrium, and the contraction of the atrium generate this P wave right here. So important. And what after that? After we have our atrium contraction, we're gonna have like the ventricle contraction now. How do we have that? Here at the base of the right atrium, right here, we have the AV node. From the AV node, right here, we're gonna have like the bundle of E's right here. This bundle of E's will separate or divide into the right bundle branch and the left bundle branch, and we'll give the little branches right here, as you can see, for the interventricular septum, and those branches called the Purkinje fibers. So again, I will tell you what is it. The bundle of E's is from the AV node. So what's going on? This bundle of E's will divide and will give you to the right bundle branch, to the left bundle branch. And right here, the interventricular septum, we're gonna have those little fibers that we call the Purkinje fibers that generate electrical activity of the interventricular septum. But something that you need to know, when we have like the ventricular contraction, that will generate the QRS complex that we're gonna be noted right here. This QRS complex represent the ventricular contraction or ventricular depolarization. And remember, when we have like the atrium contraction, the ventricle contraction, now we're gonna have the heart. The heart's gonna be resting in diastole. this will generate the T wave. This T wave represents the time of repolarization of the heart, or the time where the heart has to get its blood, because while we have like the ventricular contraction, we have blood going all over the body, like the head, the upper limb, and the like in the lower limb. But now when we have like the T, we know the heart eats or have his oxygenation or its blood and diastole, and these represent the repolarization by the T wave right here. This is very important to know. And something else that we need to focus on this. For some reason, sometimes we can have like the left atria contract before the right atria. So those are really important things that we can see in some EKGs that would show you. Sometimes we can have like a left bundle branch or a right bundle branch or something. Those are really important things that we need to know, and we'll be focused on those later on all the lectures. But as I was saying, we see it right here. It's important. So the Purkinje's fiber, those are the ones that will generate the U wave that I was talking about. For some reason, in the EKG, we don't have this U wave, but I want you to put in your mind that whenever you have like the electrical activity of the Purkinje fibers, that will generate a U wave. And if we see it on the strips, we have different stuff. We have like the PO interval, the PO interval, this PO interval is the range is 0.12 to 0.2. This is the range of the PO interval. And if we see it again, if we see on the strips again, we have another one. We have the QRS. This QRS is less than 0.12. Second. I mentioned it before to emphasize it, like the PO interval is 0.12 to 0.2. Greater than that, like greater than this greater than 0.2, we can see if we have like a first degree AV block or second degree AV block. It depends on how the variation of the PO interval. Those we will talk about them later, and those are really important. And the QRS is less than 0.12. 0.12. Here's the QRS. this is less than 0.12. If we have a QRS more than 0.12, that would have us, that will have in our, that will put in our mind. Remember that the QRS represent the ventricular depolarization. That this will put in our mind that we can have like a Y bundle branch or a left bundle branch. This is very important. So when we're gonna measure or when we're gonna study in strips or reading or interpreting EKG, so you're gonna be with me. Please focus. So what I'm telling you right now, each time that we have like the QRS interval like 0.12, this less than 0.12 or 0.12, this is okay for us. But if for a reason we measure a QRS interval, it's more than 0.12, me and you gonna be seeing what's going on depending on the strips. It might be like a Y bundle branch or a left bundle branch. This is quite really important. For the PR interval, I was telling you what was really going on. Now, if we see on the strips, we have another interval. We have this the QT interval. The QT interval is less than 0.5 second. Less than 0.5 second. So it's important to know about that. My QT interval is less than 0.5 second. More than that, we're gonna put in our mind there's something going on. And if you have a QT interval more than 0.5, this is an emergency, and it might be like a torsade de pointe, and having a torsade de pointe means you can die with a like heart attack or like cardiac arrest or anything. But remember, when you have a QT interval like less than 0.5 seconds, this means that you have an emergency. This is very important. Now, there's something else. There's something else that I want to talk to you about. This is very important. Let me draw that. Here we have the P. Here we have the Q, R, S, T. Beautiful. Like we have P, Q, R, S, T. There's another interval that we need to see in this. We need to always see how is the R to R interval. This is really important to know. And this you can only watch it if you really know EKG and you always know what's going on. If you have a sinus type, if you have like atrial flutter or sinus body. So looking at the RR interval can give you a lot of impressions. And for your knowledge, if you have like or interval wide, like, let me put it right here. Sorry. If you have like a wide or interval, put in your mind that you have a slow rhythm. That's a really slow rhythm. You can have a sinus body, or depend on the strip. So put in your mind that when each time that you have like a wide or interval, that's a slow rhythm. And number two, each time that you have like a narrow or interval, narrow or interval, you have a fast rhythm. And we can start thinking about atrial fibrillation. That's one. We can start thinking about atrial flutter. Sorry. We can think about it, and depend on the strips that can lead us to know there's something fast really going on right here. Always look for the or interval. The or interval. I told you when it's wide, we're in the presence of a slow rhythm. When it's narrow, like the or to or, like this or is very close to the other or, that means you have like a really fast rhythm. That's really important to know about. So now let's move to this P interval. To this P right here, to this P wave. Okay, let me put it right here. If you're seeing it with me, you see like your P wave is inverted. So put in your mind, in some cases, you will have your P wave inverted. Your P wave will not be always like this. So you need to recognize them. So now I'm not going to talk about it. To tell you like what's really going on, like go in deep details. But let me tell you, like, you can have your P wave inverted for some reason. So right here we can see that the P wave is like inverted, and this means, if I were going fast with you, depending on the PO interval, that's the presence of a junctional rhythm. And remember, this P wave right here, you will see it better in lead 2. Right here. But there are other things that I need to really tell you. When you are looking at lead 2, this is where you see your P wave better. See how it is. See if it's upright or downright. So those gonna be important when we're gonna be reading EKG when we're going further. But now just know that for now, like your P wave can be inverted. So now I would see in my lead two, if I have my P wave inverted like that, and I have to tell you, like when I have a PR, if I have a PR interval, I mean less than PR interval less than 0.12. So that would be a directional rhythm, how I was saying it. And what else? It's like, where is it? Yeah, I was putting it right here, and you need to always look at your P wave and lead to see if it's upright or downright. It's important to know. So now let's talk about the T wave. The T wave, it's right here. So we said that's the time of repolarization, and this is the time that you have your heart having his food, like his oxygen, or this is the one that you have the oxygenation of the heart. And this T can be, for some reason, it can be high, really high, like that. You have your T greater than 1 millimeter. Right here, you have your T greater than 1 millimeter. This is really important when we're gonna be going further. But for now, I don't talk about ST, because if it's ST, that will be something else. But for some reason, like if you have like an hyperkalemia, like you have like high potassium, that can give you this T wave, like a high T wave. I put this right here. It's like when we are going further, like reading EKG, this would be like really good information that we need to know about. Those are really, really, really important. That things that we need to know about. And what else that I'm gonna be focusing, as I was mentioning. Okay, let me see. Yeah, this right here. So I told you what it is. That was my QRS. I was telling you because this is very important, because we're gonna be reading some strips, like telling you what's really, really going on. When you have a QRS, like more than 0.12, so we can have like a Y bundle branch or a left bundle branch. So this kind of like very important to know. This is very important things. I'll repeat myself again, because I know like some people, they have trouble, you have problem like when they are like reading the EKGs. So when they see the QRS, they don't know how to measure it, or they don't know where to start measuring it, or they don't know what's really going on. Those are very important, because reading your QRS, and reading your PR interval, reading your RR interval to see if you have like a regular rhythm or irregular rhythm. Those are quite important. It's like you started knowing your strips, and you can tell what's really going on in the EKG. And see your PR interval, you say, oh, that's more than 0.2. So now I think there's something going on, maybe a bundle branch or something. So in every block, first degree or second degree, depend on the variation of the PR. And if you see your QT, as I said, like if it's more than 0.5. So now you can see yourself like, oh, okay, I know he was saying this. Now he said that we have QT like more than this. So maybe we have a trusted different or something like that. So those are very, very important things that you guys need to know about. And thank you for watching this lecture. So we thank you and subscribe, and we have all the beautiful stuff that we gonna keep on learning together.